morning, Twin Cities. You're waking up with the Fox 9 Morning News.
Thanks, Keith. It's now 8:36. There are many troubling issues facing us every day. Lately, the economy or fears of a recession, the housing market implosion. Maybe you're having troubles in a relationship, or maybe you're worried about one of your kids. There is a wave of fear that has swept our culture, and a local author offers an antidote to the stress and fear that have become kind of the norm in our world. Psychologist Joe Bailey is a best-selling author. His latest book is called Fearproofing Your Life, How to Thrive in a World Addicted to Fear. And he joins us this morning to talk about his new book. Morning, Joe.
Good morning, Alex.
Thanks for coming on the show. All right,
Thank
you say human beings are addicted to fear. Why is that?
Well, it's become almost like a lifestyle, Alex. I know for myself, much of my life, I was addicted to fear, but I had no idea. I mean, I grew up in a family. My mom was I always say she had a PhD in worry. We just worried about the weather, we worried about money, we worried about everything. And so I just thought that worrying and living in a state of fear was normal. And that progressed, though, as I went through my life and to the point of becoming obsessed
overwhelming.
with fear. Yeah. So fear really is debilitating to our lives, and we don't know it until it's gone, because it takes us out of being able to really enjoy life. It destroys our health. It, affects our immune system and all of that.
You would think in some ways that fear actually protects us in some circumstances,
Yeah.
but you're saying that it kind of shrinks our world. You touched upon one of the side effects of it, and that it, for instance, destroys our health. How does fear affect our health?
Well, anybody knows that when you're in a state of fear, it affects your heart rate goes up, you feel nervous, your breathing is affected. That's fine in a short time, and fear isn't a bad thing. We need fear to make us safe. It's kind of an alert system, an early warning system to let us know we need to pay attention. Something, the tiger's after us, or there's a car coming, we better jump out of the way. But by living a lifestyle of fear, by having worry and fear and concern on our mind all the time, it puts our body in that state of alertness
constant
and
stress
flight
mode.
and fight all the time. And it's not good for our bodies. It's not good for our relationships. It's not good for our health and our ability to think clearly. It actually makes us less safe. You would think that fear would make you safe, and that's why we try to anticipate the future with fear. But fear actually puts us in a very vulnerable position because our senses narrow. We don't think as clearly. You always look to a person in a crisis like the 35W bridge. This is the one that stays calm because they see a way out. They see how to help. They're not just focused on, oh my God, what am I going to do? So my book, Fearproof Your Life, is a way to help people be more present, enjoy their lives more, and keep fear in its proper perspective.
So how do you do that for someone who is just innately a worrier? How do you kind of get rid of that fear and live a fearless life? It may sound really scary for some, and it sounds almost too simplistic.
It's frightening to let go of fear. I mean, that sounds kind of strange to say that, but because fear is almost like a superstition. But you first have to see that it's possible to live without fear, and that it's a benefit to live without fear. It actually makes you safer, makes you more prepared for life, and you enjoy your life more. The second thing to recognize is that fear doesn't come from out there. It doesn't come from the economy. It doesn't come from traffic. It doesn't come from deadlines or pressure outside. Fear is what we create with our minds, with our thinking, the way we're using our thinking moment to moment. And until I realized that, I was a prisoner of my own thoughts and a prisoner of fear. And once I realized that fear was just a signal to let me know that I'm moving off track, moving off balance from my mental well-being, it wasn't until then that I had control over it. And that's what this book is about, is showing people that you have a choice whether you live a fearful life or a fearless life.
And I would imagine that also if you live in constant fear and you're always tense, that it can lead to depression, which we know at this time of year too is very prevalent, and in certain families where there's more of a genetic makeup of people that have depression.
Well, chronic fear leads to a lot of things, and depression is one of the main things. I've never treated a depressed patient that wasn't a chronic worrier. But chronic fear also leads to addictions, alcoholism, drug addiction. There are many coping mechanisms that people develop when they're in a state of fear. It's really the common denominator of all addictions and all mental health issues.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us. I'm sure the media,
we don't
help matters. And we're always talking about those things people are afraid of. So Well, think about that.
Well,
when
I'll
we're
be the
putting
antidote to the media. How's that?
Okay, all right, that's fine. Joe Bailey, it's called Fearproof Your Life. That is the name of the book. It is available in stores and also online now. Thanks, Joe.